Tell me, darling, could we run away? We could hide away by the cactus desert blue. I can see it just a mile away from this crowded place. I could lay there next to you.
Hey friends, welcome back to our channel, Best Freaking Friends Forever. Thank you guys for joining us again. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe down below. Leave us comments about past videos, this video. We love to hear from you. So today we're going to be discussing the movie Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. And it was released on May 24th of 1991. Opening weekend, it made $3 million, which with inflation is $6 million. In the U.S., it grossed $7 million, which with inflation is $14 million. And worldwide, it also grossed $7 million, which is $14 million with inflation. So, and it was a cute little movie. I liked it.
Yeah, this was your first time watching it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'd never even heard of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we owned this movie. I really liked it. I just always thought it was really cool because in the movie, she dives horses off of the high dive. And basically her story is she's at a carnival. She sees this stunt being performed and she's just, in awe of this woman and the horse and everything. And so then she goes and finds the guy that runs the show. Give me a job. I'll work for you. And this is, I'm assuming this took place in the Great Depression, right?
She was born in 1904. Senora herself, the real Senora, was born in 1904.
Yeah.
And she, in 1923, that's when she asked him and became a diving girl for him, for William Doc Carver.
The horse trips up when she's coming down and she comes hitting the water with her eyes open. And she doesn't according to the movie, she doesn't immediately lose her sight.
It was a couple days later because of the pressure that it had caused and built up.
Yeah, and I'm assuming the real Sonora, that did happen, right? That she really did lose.
Yeah, because the real Sonora dove for 11 more years after that. Yeah.
I love the scene where she's trying to remember all of it. She's learning to rely on her other senses, her touch, her hearing. I'm sure this even smell, she probably relied on that a lot, especially with horses. I just love that scene where she's like feeling the horse as it goes by her. And even whenever she does that dive, the first dive as her being blind, you see her standing there and she can, she see like her ears turn to where she can hear the horse and she hears it coming up and she feels it. I don't know. I love it. I just think it's so cool.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's nice how, at first her husband was like, you're not diving anymore. Because at that point, I think they were married at that point, weren't they? Or they were engaged, I think. He was like,
he had just proposed, right? He had just proposed and then she does the dive and that's when it happened. Now, I don't know if that happened in real life, but yeah. She herself said the only thing they got right in this movie was that she was a diving girl, really, is all. Because like the scene where her husband punches her father-in-law, that did not happen. She says that wasn't true. And it actually upset her that they put that in there.
I said she fell in love in real life with him and married Albert Carver in October of 1928. And he had taken over the show in 1927, so a year before. Because we saw the dad pass away.
Yes.
And after his death, and then her sister, Arnett Webster, French, followed her footsteps, becoming a horse diver and joining the show in 1928. And she horse dove until 1942 to be 99.
That's really cool.
And she passed away in 2003 on September 20th. Because she came from the beginning of the movie shows her being pretty much kicked out by her aunt, right? Was it her aunt? Yeah. And she was going to keep the brother, but send her off. And it's like, how can you even do that? Like,
she was older
for her horse, which is why she ended up going and doing what she did because they got rid of her horse.
Yeah. Well, the horse caused some damage. So
yeah, because the horse jumped. She tried to jump it and she hit the fence. The horse didn't make it over the fence because she was being coaxed by the girls in the field before school. So,
I remember the scene. I always like the scene too where she blows in the horse's face, and he's like, "Where'd you learn that at? Like, what are you doing?" Or no, he asked her like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Well, letting him get used to my scent." And I guess he said like the Native Americans used to do that or something. It was like, and she thought she had made it up.
and I think that is a cool part of the movie where we get to see her interaction with them, because you can tell she loves the horses.
I tell you what, I really Gabrielle in this movie. I'm not a big fan of hers. But in this movie, I love her in this movie. You can tell she just plays this part so well. She's young, free-spirited, wants to learn, like has to learn. Like even her being blind, I don't know, it's like she took it all in stride and didn't let it get her down. Because even her husband was like, "No, you can't do this." Like you said, like instantly, "Nope, can't do this. You're done. Sit on the sidelines, whatever." And her friend in the movie is the one that helps her sneak up there to get to do the stunt.
Well, she trains and practices behind the husband's back, I think. I don't think the husband knows she's been doing that. Because he just wants her to be safe. And she does have her moments of like frustration. Like, because in part of the movie, they show the scene where she's counting the steps in the room, like from the entrance or whatever to like a couch or a chair or something. And she's counting the steps, and, she runs into things, and you can see her frustration. Yeah. And he takes it all in stride too, but she does get frustrated that he tells her no, but that just shows her dedication, because she just kept working at it, kept practicing. I mean, look at how many times she fell trying to get on the horse. You know what I mean? After the fact.
Even with her sight, even when she had her sight and was learning, she failed time and time and time again. Played this part so well, because like even whenever she did her first dive, like she goes out there and does this, and she does like a really like dramatic bow, and I just love it. And I liked her relationship with the dad,
and it was I think it's cool that the son and her ended up together, because I think they do have the relationship between her and the dad. I mean, I think she was her father figure too, in a way.
Well, yeah, she created this little family for herself, because she was basically abandoned. And I read something where I guess there was some issues with the horses. Like people were upset because they kind of felt that the horses were being abused. And Senora herself said that was never the case. That they were always treated carefully and fairly.
Well, even, I guess when they really dove back then, it was 40 feet. And on this show, or on the movie, they made it smaller to ensure the safety of the horses. So they could not, so usually it was 40 feet. To ensure the safety of the horses, they couldn't dive more than 10. So the dive was made larger through visual trickery.
I just remember watching this as a kid, and I just love this movie. I remember just when I was younger watching it, and I thought just how cool. I don't know. There was just something I liked about her and her perseverance, and like her I feel like what drew her to that lifestyle at first was like the glam and the fame. Like I feel like that drew her in, but that's not what kept her.
Oh no.
I think that's what I like so much about this story, is what kept her in it was her family, making that family, and the horses, and the love of the thrill that
she was doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could tell from the very beginning she's a thrill seeker. Or, she liked doing things like that, like trying to jump the horse and, bareback even. She didn't even second guess it.
Well, Al, that's what I was forgetting. Al got that one wild horse, because the dad's like, that horse is spooked. And, they basically were like, well, let me work with them. Let me look at the horse and let me prove. And that's who Senora learns one, is that horse, the spooked horse. And that's the one too that trips up and causes the accident too.
Well, that's because of a band person, I think. Well, according to the movie.
Yeah, they played the cymbals.
The cymbals.
That was 1991. Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. I remember watching this as a kid. Shelley, this was her first time watching it. It was definitely a movie that we enjoyed. It's based on a real person. The story itself isn't really based on any true events other than she really did dive with horses. But definitely in the comments, let us know, have you seen this movie? Do you plan on watching it? Did you watch it because of us? We would love to know that too. But until next time, I am Tiffany. This is my BFFF Shelley. Join us next time, friends, for another great episode.